Hello and welcome to English Literature with Susan. Today I want to talk about The Evening, a poem, a very short poem by Hilda Doolittle, famous as HD. If you ask why she's called HD, we can refer back to the personal background of the poet. She was a friend of Ezra Pound, and Ezra Pound is considered to be the one who had maybe developed and gave shape to the idea of imagist poetry. Imagist poetry is a kind of short poem written with a mere focus on the object itself or the image itself without any ornamentations of metrical pattern, rhyme, or explanations, or the addition of feelings to it. So it is, as Ezra Pound calls it, a direct treatment of the object. Well, Hilda Doolittle sent her poems to Ezra Pound, and Ezra Pound called her poems imagiste as well, using the French pronunciation. The imagists were a group of French painters. By the way, Dolittle's poetry, following those imagist poetry or poetic codes, was short. And Ezra Pound suggested the name HD for Hilda Doolittle as well. He believed that she should be a reflection of her poems. If they are short and focused, they are tersely treated in accordance to their subject matter. So her name should also be treated in that way. And he shortened her name to HD, so the poet becomes a reflection of her poetry, and that name still remains today. The poem is a combination of some images. They are interrelated. We have the image of the evening and the passage of life and then the darkness. So at first there is some light, and as the poem moves on, light is getting darker and darker. So the light is getting away and we have the darkness. The light passes from ridge to ridge, from flower to flower. So we have this image that you see that the sun is moving downward towards the horizon on the west, and as it is moving downward, for example, this flower would have less of light here, and the sun is vanishing from the sky. So flower by flower, darkness is stepping over. Uh, and then she becomes more specific about the flowers. The hepaticas, widespread under the light, grow faint. And we see that the flowers, which were widespread, are now growing faint. It means that they're no more fresh. The petals reach inward, they're closing, the blue tips bend toward the bluer heart. And you see how she gives the details of the flower itself. And when we say the images poetry is the direct treatment of the idea of the image, we mean such a thing that she's just focusing on this image and uh, bring forth the details of it towards the bluer heart, and the flowers are lost. The flowers are lost because of darkness. So when there is no light, we cannot anyway see them, and they are also closed now. So the flowers petals are not widely open, and we can move on to the next part. The cornel buds, cornel buds, cornels are a wild kind of fruit. The cornel buds are still white, but there is still some light. But shadows dart from the cornel roots. But from the lower parts of the flower, the darkness is just darting, shooting itself. The shadows dart from the corn roots. Black creeps from root to root. Each leaf cuts another leaf on the grass. No, the moment of darkness, and each leaf is cutting another leaf on the grass, because of the shadow. Shadow seeks shadow, then both leaf and leaf shadow are lost. There is not even a shadow, because it is a full, profound kind of a darkness, and darkness is winning over everything. The poem can be interpreted as a simple depiction of a natural scenery or a phenomenon which is happening as a routine every day. But some say that the poem can also be a representation of an apocalypse or a kind of darkness, which is related to death, and how the nature is covered by darkness here is not just coming over of the night over nature. It can be a bigger phenomenon, like death or an apocalypse or something like that. So because the poem doesn't have many explanations, we cannot have these judgments as validated ones, but we can make some guesses about it. And this was my explanation about this poem. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed it.